Political headlines with Brian Schimming of Midwest Strategy, also vice chair of the state Republican Party, and Scott Ross, executive director of One Wisconsin Now. A new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll shows the number of Americans who approve of the president's handling on foreign policy issues has dropped to the lowest level of his presidency. Brian, let's start with you. What effect could this have on political environment in the upcoming midterm elections?
Well, the new NBC poll has a lot of bad news for the president. Number one, only 37% support him on the Benghazi issue. But a couple other numbers were really alarming. Still, 63% of the people think the country's on the wrong course, but a huge number, one that hasn't been asked before, 54% of the people now believe that President Obama isn't capable of running the country. Separate of a view on any particular issue, they don't think he's capable of doing the job. That is bad news for the president. Also bad news for the Democrats who are on the ballot this November.
Well, I mean, the number that I saw that, should be most alarming to Brian and his pals is the fact that 29% of people approve of the GOP and 22% approve of the Tea Party, which is basically the same thing. So 1 in 4 voters thinks what you guys are doing is the right thing. Now, I will say this. It validates the Republican strategy of doing nothing, of saying nothing and no for the last, 6 years. That has brought the president down. What it has not done is elevated the Republicans.
Okay, I want to move on to state politics. Our news partner in Milwaukee, WITI, ran a story on Sunday regarding Waukesha County DA Brian Schimmel, who's running for state attorney general, and some accusations that he's turning a blind eye to political corruption. He actually walked out of an interview. Here's a clip. Okay, it looks like we don't have that clip. Let me just let you know that what happened was the reporter there asked Schimmel about this situation, and he said, we're really late for something, we've got to go, asked the question again, and then he got up and handed his mic and walked out the door. So I'm wondering, what does this, in your mind, Scott, what does this mean, and how does this reflect on these accusations of pay to play in the state legislature?
Sure. What it was about, we had asked the district attorney to investigate Joe Clayfish, a state representative from Waukesha County, where DA Schimmel presides over, about allegations that there was pay-to-play going on with a bill that he wrote specifically for a millionaire who didn't want to pay his child support. And so we asked Schimmel to investigate. What ended up happening was he sent us an email back that was utterly shocking. If I can quote from it, it just says, why can't a legislator press for legislation that benefits a person who has contributed to his campaign? Isn't that the essence of representative government? I mean, that's what the interviewer was asking. Do you really buy that the essence of government is, essentially pay to play? And he got up and left. It was pretty shocking.
And I want you to have time, Brian. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the only thing I wouldn't have got up and left the interview, but I will say this. There's no evidence of pay to play. And number two, Brad Schimmel, statewide amongst DAs and sheriffs, is known as an ethical guy. That's why they're supporting. You have Democrat district attorneys and DAs and sheriffs supporting Brad Schimmel because he's an ethical guy. So a political stunt, but it's not going to work for the general. Brad Schimmel, more experience than all of the 3 Democrats combined, and that makes a difference to voters.
Ryan, Scott, we appreciate your insights as always, and we will have a final look at your forecast right after the break.